What's up everyone, welcome back. This week we're talking about correct helmet fit. Before you say anything, like, oh Seth, I see your helmet looks like it doesn't fit you properly, I will explain to you why my helmet is currently oriented the way it is, and some things to think about when you are fitting your helmet or refitting a new helmet, or really just like adjusting the fit of your helmet. Seasonally speaking, I find I have to change the fit of my helmet a couple of times a year for one important reason: cold. So right now my helmet looks like it's fitting slightly big, right? Like the strap's kind of loose, and it looks a bit weird. And that's because normally at this time of year I'll have also a neoprene hood on underneath my helmet, and that adds a little bit of size to my overall head and to my face a little bit. And once I've got my hood on, actually all the straps make sense and it doesn't look as kind of loose and as laissez-faire as it does right now. So that's something to keep in mind. We are gonna have to make seasonal changes to our helmet. That's normal, that's kind of just the cycle of the year. What is correct helmet fit? Ideally we're looking for nice and low over the forehead, as low as possible, kind of to cover this forehead part. I actually don't like the fit of this helmet very much. Like, I had an older version of this helmet that I liked way more, and it fit a little bit lower down and I felt like a little bit more covered. This one I actually don't love as much. I think I'm going to look to replace this year. It just doesn't seem to, I don't know, I think they just changed the way it fits your head a little bit, and I don't like it as much, so it's kind of that's another video, sticking on topic here. So ideally we're looking for low and kind of over the eyebrows, over your forehead, covering as much as possible. It shouldn't be kind of off the back here, exposing your whole forehead. And I've got a lot of forehead to expose, right? So I've got a lot I want to cover up. So we're looking for that kind of nice, low as possible. It shouldn't be like lopsided or really off here. And a really good acid test with your helmet's fitting you well or not is with it kind of unbuckled. You should be able to stand with your head upside down and it not fall off your head, right? That's like kind of the litmus test, I think, of if your helmet's fitting well or not. And if you're in a store trying on a bunch of helmets, it's not a very good test to just like push it off the back of your head, because you're doing a very specific action. You're always going to be able to push it off the back of your head, no matter how well it fits your head. So that's not a good test. The upside down head, I find, is a good test. You know, to each their own though. In terms of fitting the helmet or making it fit, quite often they'll be loose when you first get them. And then in this helmet, for example, I have a bunch of pads. I don't know if you could see that. I have some removable pads. I'm going to try and show you because maybe it's not showing up on the video. That are pieces of foam that came with the helmet. I have a little small one in the front. I have a couple in the back too. So don't be afraid to have like multiple pads in there to get just the right fit that you want. And really the key, I think, is to just play around with how your pads are oriented. So I have one on the front, two on the back. I don't have any on the sides. And there is an option with these helmets to like kind of flip the side up and have more in the side there. But basically what you're looking for is good coverage, so it doesn't get pushed back or forward, so it shouldn't ever be able to fall forwards and cover your eyes. It shouldn't be able to get knocked like off of your head sideways. And then that strap should be buckled up with about a 2-finger gap under here. This is a little big, but kind of normally I'd be shooting for about here. Like I said, with the hood on, things are all a little bit tighter, so it kind of pans out. And then lastly, these straps at the side here have actually quite a lot of impact on how much forwards or backwards roll in the helmet you're going to experience. So basically a tighter front part of the Y here is going to help with it moving in that forwards backwards direction. So if you are finding your helmet's riding back on your head a lot, you can tighten that up a little bit with the buckle on the side there. You should get a much tighter, snugger fit and kind of stopping it from riding back on your head all the time. These sweet helmets have this little like clicky grip thing on the back, which does do quite a good job of kind of snugging the helmet right in. And you want to make sure that little clicky piece is right under I don't know what it's called, the back part of your head, where it like kind of dips in. And yeah, that's kind of what you want, to be really snug in that little spot underneath where your skull dips in, and just really hugging your head as best as it can so that you get a good, firm, snug fit, but without giving you a headache. And you just kind of want to ride that line between a good, firm fit and no headaches. What I do recommend is playing with your helmet a bit when you first get it. Put some pads in there, get a kind of a fit, wear it around for a bit, shake your head. If you're getting a lot of mobility in it and it's moving around in your head a lot, then you need to think about more pads or changing the strap setup or something like that, because it's ultimately like all the things that you're doing when you're shaking your head are going to be amplified when you're under the water and the water's pushing on you. So keep that in mind. For me, I think the like unbuckled head upside down test is very good. I found that to be a very good indicator, but I know maybe not everyone's going to appreciate that. I think it's probably different if you have longer hair than I do, and you may have to make considerations for how your hair's tied, etc. I'm kind of not really speaking from experience there because, you know, thinning on top here. And that's pretty much all I've got to say on helmet fit. Make sure you get a helmet that fits you correctly. Do not be afraid to spend a bit more money on a helmet, because it is the only thing between your face and a rock, and that should be considered. And yeah, that's all I got for this week. I will see you again in a future video. Hope this one helped you. Peace.